stick around, come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 6060 cycle. Who those hits around, bound to go through flat. Welcome to another exciting episode of Wine Down with Kev as we come to the conclusion of our journey. 50 agents, 50 podcasts, 50 states. We are here. We are at the grand finale. So let me begin this one as I begin all the others with an attitude of gratitude. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in. Whether you're watching us live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, you are appreciated. Thank you very much. Also, special thanks to all of you that have already hit the subscribe and notification button. Thank you. We could not do it without you. Also, thank you to my sponsors that you'll see flashing on the screen behind me. Right now, you're taking a look at Canopy Connect Insurance Agents. If you're looking to make life easier for your customers, your prospects, reach out to my friends at Canopy Connect. They make the process so digital, so user-friendly, so easy. And for those of you that are looking to grow in the social media space, it's no secret, right here, Carroll Media. They're the reason why I've been viewed on Facebook in 2023 and 2024 over 1 million times. They make it easy. If you're looking to grow your social media game, look no further than Carroll Media. Last but definitely not least, none of this happens without proper financing. So please reach out to my friends at Wintrust Financial. That being said, we are super excited that you tuned in today for another exciting episode. Today, we go to the great state of Massachusetts, very specifically the Boston area. Boston, that's my best Bostonian accent. Been there a bunch of times, where we're going to get to podcast with a relatively new agent, a relatively young agent, I would say, on both things. Been in the business for 5 years. He's doing extremely well. Ladies and gentlemen, put your warm Wine Down with Kev hands together, and let's give a warm Wine Down with Kev welcome to Jake Castinetti. Hey, Jake, what is going on? How you doing?
Not too much. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you for being my closing finale. Jake, no pressure, but we got to crush this, man.
Yeah, it sounds like we do.
Let's go. Jake, I gave you the best introduction I could, but why don't you give the people a little bit of your backstory? Tell them a little bit about how you got into business. I know you've been an agent for 5 years, but what did you do before that, and how did you get here?
Yeah, definitely. So, grew up around the Boston area. I went to college in the area, studied business, wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do, so finishing up college, I was in the restaurant business for a long time, bartending, waiting tables, whatnot. And right around when COVID hit, all the restaurants started to shut down. So at the time, I had a friend who worked in insurance, and I was at a captive company. Ended up reaching out to him for a job, and he said, I'll get you an interview. It's the best I can do. I said, sure, why not? So started as an intern, ended up doing really well, enjoyed the industry, and, worked my way up the ladder, and here we are now.
I love it, Jake. I love that, man. Local college, shout out to school. What school?
Salem State University in the Witch Town.
I love it. I love it. A lot of great stories written up there. So Salem, Mass, everybody should know that, should relate to it. I got to ask the bartender story. Talking to people as a bartender, everybody's favorite therapist, if they're not in an official program. How is being a bartender and just talking to people, every walk, every station of life, how has that helped you in terms of being an agent and just being able to kick it and have a conversation with people, young, old, wherever they're at, whatever the station is in life?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, it's all the social skills. If I didn't have that job or those jobs in the past, I wouldn't really know how to talk to people. Those skills from just bartending and, being in the restaurant industry in general have taught me great deals on how to network, how to just get along with people naturally, just keep conversations flowing. I wouldn't be the social butterfly I am without, those jobs that I've worked my whole life. I started when I was 13, so it got me going pretty young.
I love it. And you are, I don't know the ages that belong with the different generations, but social skills are missing skills, right? We can it's kind of like absent in the world today that we can do everything we want on our various device, but to have the gift of gab, how handy has that come in for you?
Yeah, it does come in handy. I do like talking, but the most important part of being an insurance agent is listening. It's not the talking. A lot of people say you'd be good in sales if you talk, you get the gift of gab. I think it's the opposite. It's a nice skill to have to storm up conversation, but the purpose of the game is to listen, be attentive, really make customers feel like you're there for them and listening to their needs. It's going to get you a whole lot farther than just talking away.
Jake, I love it, man. That's a fabulous answer. So you gave me 3 parts of the backstory: college, bartender. You start as an intern. You like it. How do you pivot from intern to agency owner?
Honestly, just working hard. I enjoyed it. So I liked making sales, talking to customers, and that really turned into helping other agents. I was a year and a half into the industry, a year and a half in, and I was already doing sales trainings for other agents in the office because I just enjoyed learning more and more and more. And in this industry, you can never really run out of knowledge. There's always things, whether you're brand new or you've been in the industry for 50 years, there's something you don't know and you're going to uncover one day. So just the chase of never getting too comfortable has really inspired me to help others, help other agents become successful, and, the rest from there.
I love it, Jake. You are preaching to the choir right now, brother. You're preaching to the choir, because I'll tell anybody, I'm in this industry 38 years. The first 2 weeks that I take off and think I can trade the rest of my career, however long that is, on what I know already, it will be the beginning of my end, because something is going to change. Every month, something changes, prices, guidelines, technology. It's all changed a lot, and you must stay in the game and keep learning. Well, it sounds like you love learning and teaching others. How's that panned out for you as you opened your own agency, hiring your own staff and teaching them the insurance business as well?
It's good. I mean, I'm happy that I kind of went through those trials and tribulations, because, teaching agents and training agents is a difficult task. With customers, they're very coachable. You kind of point them in the right direction, tell them what to do. But with agents, it's hard to put your pride aside, because you want everyone to do things exactly how you do it, right? But there's way more than just one way to get to the same goal. And it's difficult watching people do things a little uncanny or their own way. It kind of gets frustrating, but in the grand scheme of things, if they get to that main goal and do everything right along the way, that's all that really matters.
I love it. I love it. We're talking a little bit of sports off camera, little Celtics, little Red Sox, little Patriots. Sports teams, I'm sure if you're playing for Bill Belichick, you don't do it your own way. You do it the Patriot way. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, you got that right.
So in your agency, we do it your way.
Oh yeah, do it my way or the highway. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't strike me as a my way. You sound like you do a good job of really teaching people. Take me through your onboarding process. You get somebody fresh out of school like you. They want to learn the business. They want to be successful. What does that first 30, 60, 90 days looks like working in your agency?
Honestly, I like giving people trial and error, put people on the spot, make them do it themselves. That's kind of how I learned and how I think people should learn. I don't like to hold people's hand and tell them things, that they should be learning on their own. Of course, I'll give you the basics, point out some of the software and the systems and how to use those certain things. But at the same time, do it. Try it. You're going to fail a bit, obviously run it by me before you execute some of these policies and plans you put in place. But at the same time, that's how I learned. I was doing things outside the box, whether it was networking, it doesn't matter what it was. I was always trying new things, and I failed a bunch of times. I did good and sometimes, and I succeeded, but that's how you're going to learn the best. You're going to do it. You're going to figure it out. It's going to be a rocky road, but I like to see people take initiative and do things and, fall on their face for a little while, because it's really going to build character, and it's going to teach them how to do things and how to not do things.
I love it. Failure is a wonderful teacher. Where does that philosophy come from? I was speaking to someone earlier that had a background playing baseball from being a kid up until JUCO level baseball. Where does that level of teach, trial by error, trial by fire, where does that come from in you?
Similar scenario. I played a bunch of sports my whole life, but I ended up giving up a lot of the ones that I was decent at for basketball. Basketball was the one sport I wasn't the best at. I got cut my sophomore year of high school, but I loved it so much. So I kept trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. And, I made the team junior and senior year. Didn't play a lot. Obviously, I was disadvantaged due to size, and ability. But at the same time, it's again, trials and tribulations. I just wanted to be the best version I possibly could because I enjoyed it so much. I could have just went and played baseball and I was a great pitcher, but I just didn't enjoy it as much, So it's like, I wanted to succeed so bad. I tried every single thing I could to be the best I possibly could. And that's where I get that from.
Hey, DJ, what's up? I'm in the middle of recording the podcast.
I know, man.
No. Yeah. So, this guy, we want to talk about something different. He's trying to get his website and his Google My Business page going.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody knows you helped me to get to the 2 Comma Club, but and be seen by a couple of million people. But this person wants to do something different. They're trying to run ads to their book of business, their model line campaigns and stuff like that.
I know, Kev.
Oh man, well, DJ, talk to the people, man, so I can get back to the podcast. How can you help?
Yeah, man. So listen, I can help you by running monoline ads to your auto, your home, as well as optimizing your website, your Google business profile, and your social media outlets. We can do the exact same thing we've done for Kevin over the years and get you in front of millions of sets of eyeballs to help you grow your business. Contact Carroll Media today. Kev, let them know.
DJ, I appreciate you jumping in the podcast. Hit up Carroll Media. DJ, I got to go. I got to get back to the podcast.
I know.
I love it. Jake, your story resonates with the Michael Jordan story, and it has a better ending than mine. I tried out for the basketball team every year from middle school to high school. Never made the team. I don't have a happy ending, but I gave the guys that made – I gave them as much heck as I possibly could at every single tryout. But I love your tenacity, just sticking to it, being consistent, and becoming the best version of yourself that you possibly could. You mentioned networking a couple of times. Talk about your networking and what organizations, if any, have you tapped into, and how have you put yourself out there networking wise?
Definitely. Yeah. When I was at my first captive company, we had leads, people calling in the office, and, it was good, but I knew that wasn't going to last a long time. So I figured I would go out and make some connections. It started with the car dealerships and, that kind of ventured out into other spaces. But a lot of my business that I like to network from is I get a lot of business from mortgage lenders, other insurance agents, financial advisors, estate planners. A lot of my networking, I joined a new version of a BNI type of group recently. It's called Prosperity Networking Group. Very more laid back version of a BNI, but we pass along a lot of referrals to each other. So I say the best way to get referrals is become friends with people. Insurance agents are a dime a dozen. You can go out there and say, I can do the same job 40 other agents can do. Why would they want to send you business, right? Become friends with someone and they're going to naturally like you enough to just want to send you business naturally.
That is fair. And I love hearing, I am a former big time BNI guy, started as a member, finished as the president. But I love hearing about new things that are happening. So it sounds like Prosperity is a new thing. Is that a local thing or is it national like BNI?
Yeah, it's a brand new group, local thing. I think they're trying to scale it to a bigger type of venture. Not as crazy as BNI, but, a more laid back, casual type of thing. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you said something, become friends. And one thing I preach in my agency, agents I work with, agents I coach, is we should always be looking for relationships, not transactions. And there's a big difference. How do you respond to that? Is it more important for you to have high volume transactions or build long-term relationships?
100%. It's long-term relationships. It's same thing when you're, dealing with customers and selling policies to customers. So you can just be very, laid back with a customer and not give them too much attention, sell them a policy, make a few bucks. Sure. But they're going to disappear next year, right? You got to pride yourself on service, being attentive to them, accessibility. It's the same thing with your relationships. I can go to someone and say, oh, you're, in the mortgage industry. I can help with your customers. They might send me one person. I get the job done, never hear from them again. But with me, I'd rather take my guys out, let's go golfing, let's hang out outside of work. Let's grab a coffee. Like, hey, it's been a while. I'm going to drop by with some pizzas for the office, become friends with those people. And they're naturally just going to send you the business and want to refer their customers to you because they know your character. They know how you get stuff done.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Talk to me about your staff.
So we have a few agents right now that are all right in business. Again, very new agency, so we're kind of in the up and running stage. But I've been at multiple different agencies in the past, so we're kind of working out the kinks right now to get the ball rolling.
I love it. It is a process. Let's talk landscape and geography for the person that hasn't been to Boston as much as I do. Talk about the landscape. Obviously, Northeast, all sort of seasons. What sort of natural disasters have you and your agency had experience with where customers really were rocked, but you guys sold them the right policy and you were able to help them put things back together?
Yeah, honestly, we get kind of blessed out here. We don't really have a ton of natural disasters, like the Midwest gets, and, the earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes. We don't get them much. We do have some severe weather, but it is pretty moderate. We'll have some floods every now and then. But, I guess something I can think of, in terms of that aspect on the spot is I had a customer whose house burned down recently. And, it was a terrible situation. But, as an agent, I felt so bad. I mean, it's my job to help this customer now. So I immediately got on the phone with him. We got everything sorted out. He had no idea what to do, not an idea the first place to start. So we made sure we called his home insurance company together, got the claim started. He was in a hotel that same night with his insurance policy already beginning to make the payments on that hotel room for him to stay in for the next, probably 6 months, I believe it's going to be. But, just being there for those customers in those times of need, when they really don't know where else to turn to, and kind of giving them that guidance it is refreshing, in an industry where you're just on the phone all the time and, you don't get too much gratitude. Those situations kind of do make you feel a bit better.
No, I mean, absolutely. No one has ever been through a house fire before, right? It's a one-off, and who knows what to do whenever you confront something that you've never done before. It's very, 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 very hard. So shout out to you for being there, getting him in a hotel, giving him peace of mind. Don't know if it was a single guy, whether it was a family or what have you. So big kudos to you to getting that done. You said something important earlier. You talked about that the captive agency that you were at, they were getting buying internet leads, and you knew that wouldn't work. So you found more value in networking. Networking is definitely one of my preferred ways. How much are you engaged in the digital space, things like social media, to increase awareness so people can be aware that you have products and services that can help them?
Yeah, definitely. So it all depends on what aspect. We have running leads for different types of life insurance plans. So we do a lot of Facebook marketing in terms of that aspect of the business. More on the P&C side, we don't really pay for any ads, anything like that. I have a Instagram page and whatnot. I definitely should do a better job of ramping that up and, using it more. But, we have email automations that go out, follow us on Instagram, whatnot after a sale's made. So we do have a little bit of a presence on social media, but it is something that can always, use some improvement.
No, absolutely. I just love speak with someone like yourself and learning what's new, what's exciting, what's innovative, and what's different, because buying leads can get very expensive and very challenging. So I love organic and relationship building. Definitely. Jake, what are you doing outside the agency for fun?
A lot of golf. That's about it. I try. The weather's been not so great lately. It's pouring rain here right now, but I try to golf as much as I can. I like to go outside. I like to play basketball as much as I can still, keep active, but just hanging out with friends, going out to get dinner, watching my Celtics. Unfortunately, they lost this year to the Knicks. Tough to say, but I know, I see that. But just that's about it. I love all different types of sports. I enjoy watching them, playing them, engaging in them. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. A shout out to the Celtics. All jokes aside, they were my pick to win everything, to repeat again. Very unfortunate. And if I said anything that wasn't kind, I'm going to bring a little bad karma to my Knicks. And we had a hard time last night. So I don't want to do that. Hey, Ray, it's Kevin. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. You guys have been helping me out for a while with all the digital things you can do at Use Canopy. But some of my guys, they're still having a hard time adjusting to the digital age. Talk to the people, Ray, please.
Yes, sir. Well, Canopy is the insurance data intake platform. Send a link out to your prospect. They, click on it, find their insurance carrier. We got like 350 insurance carriers on there. Click that, sign in, and they can be done there. You can ask them a few more questions you want, but we're going to pull all that insurance information, give it to you right in a nice dashboard.
That sounds pretty quick. What are we talking? 2 or 3 minutes?
Less. You can do that in 30 seconds, man.
Wow. Nick, you're a big time marketing guy. What do you think?
You know, I think Canopy Connect is one of those tools that everybody should have in their back pocket. Makes it easy to use. You can send it out in emails and text messages. You can use it in social media campaigns, X-Date campaigns. All of those methods will work with Canopy Connect.
Guys, I got to get back to the podcast, but you heard it right here. Use Canopy Connect. Go digital. Leave old school in the past. Nick and Ray, I'll catch you guys later. Easy.
Let's go. See ya.
Serious golfer? Are we talking like single digit handicaps? What are we talking about here?
Not there quite yet. That's my goal for the next year and a half, 2 years, is to get single digits. But I'm up there like a 14-ish, 15 right now. Very inconsistent. I'll have some great days and some very, very forgettable days. Let's put it that way.
that sounds like life, man. That sounds like the highs and lows of life that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Being in the Northeast, you have access to a whole lot of other outdoor stuff, man. But kudos to you playing basketball is absolutely when I had the legs and the wheels to do it, definitely my favorite outdoor sport to do. What products do you concentrate on? You mentioned the life insurance and some of the P&C. What's first for you? What do you lead with?
Well, it depends, but I mean, my strength has just been on the personal line side of things. I know personal lines right now isn't super profitable, but I try to strive on keeping a really healthy book. I instruct my customers on how to file claims, what the most efficient way to do it is. Before they even get into accidents, we have these conversations. So even though the personal line side of things isn't as profitable as some of these bigger commercial accounts and obviously life insurance policies, I like personal lines. I enjoy it. It's something everyone needs and everyone has. So if I can save people a few bucks or a lot of money on something they're forced to pay anyways, it's a win in my book.
No, absolutely. And it's a good place to start. When you lead with personal lines, they definitely have everything else. How do you emphasize to people the value of a local agent, especially in your position, as opposed to going to an 800 number or .com?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just the customer service, and it's a very touchy subject between agents, but all my customers have my cell phone number. Now, I've had a lot of mixed reviews with agents where they want to be bothered, and I get that. It's sometimes it can get out of hand. People will call me at 4 a.m. and say my car broke down, and I say I'm not AAA. Go figure that out somewhere else. But it is great for retention. If someone can just text me a question they have at 9 p.m., maybe they'd have to wait till the next morning to find out after being on hold for 20 minutes on a 1-800 number, so I lead by my service and my accessibility. You can go save $20 a month by joining some company you bought a policy from online, by all means, of course. And that's happened to me before, but next year, or if they've had a claim, they come right back, so I strive to be very on top of my service and attentiveness to customers.
I love it. Jake, there's another young person fresh out of school, currently working retail or restaurant, and they'd like to get a license in the Boston area. How hard is it to get into the business? What sort of financial investment are they looking at making in themselves, and what sort of study time are they looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly pretty simple. Massachusetts is a state where you don't need any fingerprinting for any licenses, anything like that. So very simple. Obviously, it depends on your pace in terms of studying. For me, it took me a while because I'm not a great test taker.
Okay.
But some people can get it done in a couple weeks. And, all in with study material, test, and the license, you're probably looking at about $500-600 or less. Massachusetts is a state where the license does cost a few $100. It is pretty expensive, like everything here. But, within a month and $500-600 later, you can have your license up and running.
I love it. And I like your transparency, sharing that you're not a great test taker. That's going to help someone that's listening to, watching this podcast at a later date. Sometimes when you know those things about yourself, you'll talk yourself out of even making the attempt to do it. But kudos to you for fighting through it. I've known people that have been very successful that have failed state tests 2 and 3 times, but they get back on the bike. And once that's done, it has very little to do with actually selling policies. You can still succeed and do very, 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 very well.
Right.
Definitely. What would you say to someone that wants to get into it, even being in a hard market right now, someone that's a little undecided, would you encourage them to get into the business that you did at a young age?
100%. 100%. Yeah, it's a great business to be in. It's the financial services industry is a great business to be in, and I will never probably ever do anything else besides this, So I'd say just go the route I did, honestly. Starting independent at an agency, you could have some success, yes, if you start maybe customer service wise. But if you want to jump right into sales, go to a captive agency. They pay for all these, marketing. Everywhere you see these captive agencies at sports games, on the news, TV, whatever. So they get all these customers calling in all day long, walking in the office all day long, just looking for insurance. So if you start there, you're going to do well for the first few years. And during that time, network yourself so you can go independent eventually. Long term, independent agencies definitely have the upper hand in terms of ownership, commissions, and leeway in terms of your schedule and how you run your day to day. But captive is a great place to start.
I love it. I love how you position that. Start with the captive, leverage the advertising, leverage the training. But, once you have it, you kind of know what you're doing. Make the move and go independent so you can take advantage of it and have the, what people are looking for. There are three distinct types of buyers. There's the person that wants to buy online, doesn't want to talk to any human being at all. There's a person that wants the name recognition of a captive. And then there's a person that wants a broker that works for them. And that's just their buying patterns. There's no changing those patterns other than when someone breaks the cycle and they get to know someone and say, you know what, I think, local and independent or local and captive is the way to go. Thank you. Let's go. Let's get it started. Yeah. I love that. Love that. Love that. Jake, tell me anything else about yourself that you'd love to talk about, but I didn't ask you.
Honestly, I think we kind of ran through it. I'm pretty bland. I enjoy my time being outside. I enjoy, talking to customers. Work's my whole life. My life revolves around work. And, to anyone listening to this that isn't in the industry, it doesn't have to be that way. I choose for it to be that way because I enjoy what I do. So I'm a workaholic. If you text me 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and you need a quote, I'm on it. I'm always there. So I'd say I'm a bit of a workaholic, but I enjoy, spending downtime, just watching my Celtics, watching sports. And, that's about it.
I love it. And you say that word like it's a bad thing from, all the other workaholics out there. Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm a workaholic. I'm good with that. Jake, take me through a Jake day. What would a normal Thursday look like? What's your morning routine? What's your midday like?
Yeah. Every day is so different. Some days I'll have my calendar full with tasks, people to speak to, quotes to do. Some days I'm sitting around just looking for something to do to be productive, so it's such a hit or miss. But, a normal day, I'm going to check my task list, see what I need to get done. Maybe someone's up for renewal, can shop their rate around if their price went up. Days that are slower, if I have nothing else to do, I'm going to be searching through Facebook or, online to look for people I can network with. Made a post yesterday looking to connect with a couple new mortgage lenders, made a couple new connections. I have some plans next week to grab coffee with one of them. Hopefully that can lead to some more business and a good friendship going forward.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So the morning routine, you wake up, you're right at business. Are we doing exercise? Are we swinging the clubs? We're getting centered or right at right after the morning?
Both. I've been trying to get back in the gym a little bit more, but I do enjoy playing golf first thing in the morning. So it's either hit or miss. I'm either at the golf course or the gym at 6:30 every morning. So
anytime you're walking on a golf course, they say a bad day of golfing is better than a good day of doing many other things.
Got that right.
I love it. End of the day, you knock down all the tasks. How do you wind down at the end of the day?
Honestly, I love cooking. The Italian genes in me, just born to cook. So I enjoy whipping up some pasta or honestly anything that I'm craving. I'll make a trip down to the grocery store and spend way too much money on a bunch of ingredients that I don't need and make one meal with it and never use the rest again.
That's okay, man. But that has to be an awesome feeling to treat yourself right, to give yourself that amazing meal and to know that you made it. You could take the short route and buy the fast food, but I equate cooking with treating myself well. Sometimes I need to put the olive oil in the pan. I need to throw the time and everything else in there to season it just right because I deserve it. I need to make it for myself.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it. Jake, closing words, any encouraging words for someone that may be lots happening in the economy right now, Some people are in between opportunities. A lot of young people like yourself looking for career opportunities. Anything you can encourage them with as it relates to maybe getting in any aspect of financial services at all?
Yeah, I mean, stay the course. That's my, tip. I've many countless times have thought about quitting and just going to get another job and just being in something a little bit more comfortable. There's days where I'll feel like, wow, this is the best job in the world. And there's days where I will be scrambling to try to find some sales because I think I'm so far behind the ball. But stay the course. It's a great industry. It's very, very, like, how do I say it? You feel good when you help people do something, for them, and you save them money, or whether you're helping them out with a tough situation they got stuck in. And it's a rewarding, industry. It's a great paying job. The renewals are great going forward every year, and you can really build a solid career around it.
I love it. Jake, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for taking time, jumping on. Shout out to the people that recommended to you. Shout out to the group Insurance Soup that said you got to get Jake on. You were a phenomenal guest. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode of Wine Down with Kev. As always, thank you to everyone that has already hit the subscribe and the notification button. If you haven't and you want to know when awesome content like this comes out, hit the subscribe and notification button right now. Big thanks to my sponsors, Carol Media, Canopy Connect, all things social media, Carol Media, all things digital. If you want to make the process of buying insurance easier for your prospects, for your current customers, check out Canopy Connect. Thank me later. And as always, thank you to my financial partner in business, Wintrust Financial. That being said, thank you to all of you out there in live stream land. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch us live in this podcast. And thank you for being a part of the 50 Podcasts with 50 Agents in 50 States journey. That being said, please wrap it up with giving a warm Wine Down with Kev round of applause to Jake Castinetti.
Thank you.